Yo, welcome back to another video. Today we are in the Open Ultra League, and we're going to be featuring the Pidgeot paired with Registeel and Shadow Swampert. So we got the Defense Deoxys versus the Pidgeot right here. We're going to stay in for now. We're going to go for this Brave Bird and Dip. Okay, they allow it to go through, and now we're just going to tank this move, and we'll see what they switch into. They go for the Thunderbolt here. Okay, it looks like they're going to stay in actually. We're going to go for this Zap Cannon. If they're going to decide to stay in, this will KO or get a shield. So we do get the shield and we get a debuff. This next Thunderbolt does less damage now, as you can see. And possibly we can get to another move. We do get to another move. This is going to KO or get the last shield. Looks like they just decided to let it go. And we are met with the Greedent. So Greedent here is going to be able to spam these crunches fairly quickly. We decided to shield there just to get this Focus Blast off. It will do some big damage. They decided to use their last shield. It makes sense. And we're going to try to get to another Focus Blast. They are going to be able to time it well. They're going to throw a Crunch to take out our Reggie. And now we got to predict what's in the bag. So they have the Defense Deoxys paired with the Greedent. What do we think is in the bag? Some kind of Dark type? That's my guess. We'll see what happens. So our opponent here is going to be throwing a bunch of Body Slams here. We're going to go for this Brave Bird again. Do we do a Brave Bird and Dip? No, Brave Bird and Dip. We're going to stay in, force them to use some energy. And they're going to take us out with a Body Slam right there. They still haven't switched out when we have revealed these Swampers, so maybe we start looking okay. Some kind of Flyer, or maybe some kind of Talonflame Charizard action. Okay, no, none of that was right, but it was the Dark type of Greninja. One Earthquake goes through it, almost KOs, but because they have no shield, they had to farm up to 2 moves, and we were able to farm down with the Mud Shot. So GG's to our opponent right there. On to the next game. Let's see what we find. Venusaur versus Pidgeot. Excellent lead. Definitely want to switch out the Swampert when we can. Perfect alignment. We're going to throw this Hydro Cannon immediately. It does not get a shield, but it takes this Talonflame into the low red. So we're going to allow this fly to go through. It does not KO. They're going to be able to get to another move here. And we're actually okay letting this go because basically we can farm down with something right here. This is a great opportunity to farm down with the Reggie. We got like 3 free lock-ons right there, and now we have an energy head start versus this Venusaur, and we're gonna go for the Zap Cannon. We do get the debuff right there, so this is looking really good. Our opponent is going to be throwing a resisted debuffed Frenzy Plant. They're deciding to stay in, so what do we think is in the back here? Some kind of Flyer, some kind of water type or something. We'll find out. Another Zap Cannon goes through. We get another debuff right here. So our opponent really does not want to see this Registeel, but unfortunately for them, we're going to get a ton of energy before we take out this Venusaur. Go for this Focus Blast right here. Takes out the Venusaur. Ends up being the Charizard. So makes sense right there. We're going to be able to get to another Zap Cannon. This is going to get a shield, most likely. Big shield. Another debuff. So this Charizard is way behind the 8 ball at this point. They're going to have to go for a Blast Burn to take us out, which requires a lot of energy. And now we're going to come back in with our Pidgeot with 2 shields. So all we have to do here is shield. We're going to shield a Blast Burn right there. We already know that they're debuffed. We're just going to go for these Feather Dances at this point because there's no way they can get to 3 Blast Burns at this point. I mean, look at that. Blast Burn right there did not even take a quarter of the health. And we're going to be able to debuff them again. So they are fully debuffed right now, and they're not going to be able to get that win right there. So GG's to our opponent. Able to basically just debuff to victory. All right, next game. Let's see what we find. We got the Pidgeot versus Swampert. Decent. This is decent. We definitely don't want to see this Swampert versus our Reggie, right? So we're going to stay in. We're going to tank this. Or we're going to shield here, knowing that we're going to debuff them right here. 1 Feather Dance goes through. This is the bait. They don't shield. Nice. But now we're going to tank this next Hydro Cannon, which does less damage. Okay, we're going to build up to another Brave Bird. We're going to throw out another Feather Dance. This Feather Dance will not get shielded as well. So they're deciding to just take the shield advantage and run with it. They're going to go for the Hydro Cannon, which is barely doing any damage at this point. And this looks like a great opportunity for farm down. Do we go for the farm down? We do go for the farm down. Our opponent here is going to come back in with the Talonflame. It does get 1 Incinerate off. We're going to go for the Feather Dance debuff. Then we're going to go for the Brave Bird. Let's see if we finally get a shield. No shield from that either. Wow. Our opponent really does not want a shield. All right, so they decided to reset the debuff. They switch into the Giratina. This Giratina is running the, it looks like the Dragon Claw Ancient Power version. So all of the moves will be resisted. We're going to go for this Zap Cannon here. Will we get the debuff to get an even favorable matchup? Okay, so now they are debuffed. We know that they do not have Shadow Sneak. They're only going for Dragon Claws. However, most of the damage from the Giratina is from their fast move. That Shadow Claw has already taken us down into the yellow. Our opponent here goes for the Flame Charge on our Reggie, but we're going to decide to tank it and then save the shield for this Talonflame. We do decide to shield this one, and we're going to go for a ton of Hydro Cannons at this point. We know that this Giratina... Okay, it looks like they called the Earthquake Bay right there. But do they have enough health to withstand all of these attacks? We know that they only have Dragon Claw and Ancient Power, so we know that we can tank one Dragon Claw. We're going to go for this Hydro Cannon right here. It does get the Giratina really low. We're going to switch out into the Reggie. We tank the Dragon Claw, and unfortunately for them, there was a timeout win because we had two Pokemon versus their one. We win because of the Pokemon advantage. So GG's to our opponent right there. Unfortunate that they were running the Ancient Power, though. All right, absolutely bad lead. We're going to switch on to the Reggie. We get met with the Poliwrath, so we've gone from bad to bad. We're going to get a Zap Cannon to at least get a shield. No debuff this time, so our luck on the debuff has run out in this match. Once Scold goes through, they get the debuff. And then at least we're going to be able to get to another Zap Cannon here. It does a good amount of damage. We do get the debuff on that second one. Okay, so it looks like we're gonna tank this Icy Wind, and then, okay, probably farm down at this point, or try to. Second Icy Wind goes down, okay, and then we're gonna switch out and try to get an Energy Head Start, but look at this. This is a hard counter team here, huh? We do have two shields. Let's see if we can wiggle out of this situation. We build up to at least two Hydro Cannons here. One Hydro Cannon goes through. Even though it's resisted, you can see it does like 15%, 20% right there. Another Hydro goes through, and looks like they are going to be throwing a Seed Bomb right before we get to Hydro. We're going to shield here, and we're going to look to get another Hydro Cannon off. This is going to force the shield or KO. They decided to let it go, and then now it all becomes a beating situation. We're going to catch this move right here. It is the Brutal Swing. They take us out. They try to catch a move, and unfortunately for them, we get an extra Mud Shot right there. Go for the Hydro Cannon bait, and then we're going to be able to get to another Earthquake right here. Shadow Swampert Earthquake. Boom! Takes out the Ampharos right there. So, wow, we had to play that backline perfectly, and luckily we did. But they also allowed us to get an extra Mud Shot energy when they decided to try to catch the move. So, crazy ending right there. Let's see what we find next. Will we be able to end off on a good note? Pidgeot versus the Gliscor. Okay, kind of neutral matchup. Typically, they're running like Night Slash and Earthquake, but let's see what happens. They could have Aerial Ace. Okay, they have the Night Slash. No boost. So we avoid the disaster in the first try. We go for the Feather Dance right there. Feather Dance bait does not get shielded. They go for another Night Slash. We're going to go for another Feather Dance right here. These Feather Dances not only are debuffing their attack, but as you can see here, we're at least getting it low enough so we can farm down with something in the back. But they are going to switch out eventually into the Annihilate. The Annihilate is going to have to tank a Feather Dance. And now we have a decision to make. What do we think is in the back? We think maybe the Reggie will be more useful in the back. So we're going to go in with our Swampert. We do shield the Shadow Ball. So that is some good news. We're going to go for this Hydro Cannon here. Take out the Annihilate. Our opponent comes back in with the Gliscor here. We're going to be able to throw a Hydro Cannon right here. And because they revealed they already have the Night Slash, we're not going to shield here. There's the boost right there. The boost does come through. We're going to be able to throw another Hydro Cannon. This is going to get the shield, or they're going to get the KO. They decided to shield, so something in the back does not want to see a Swampert or some kind of like flyer. We're gonna shield here. They have potential Earthquake power, and that is indeed the case. Okay, so it ends up being the Reggie. So Reggie right there. Definitely didn't want to see the Swampert, but because we have a huge energy advantage, we're going to be able to beat them. So GG's to our opponent right there. Check out this team if you haven't already, and let us know if you enjoyed the video.